You're listening to Top of the Morning. Mag-anisay ta Sugbo ang atong pangutana. Karong buntaga Marso 20, 2025 is unsa atong pangutana, Justin?
So our question is, nagkaduol or nagkalayo bata tungod sa social media? So the thing about this, Jiggy, this kind of question, it seems like a no-brainer, no? Like we've coexisted with social media for such a long time.
Correct.
So again, ang question nato, guys, for Onisay Tasugbo is
not a long time, but for a time, right? We have been with
for quite some time.
For quite some time, yeah.
So nagkaduol or nagkalayo bata tungod sa social media? That's our Onisay Tasugbo question today. So let us know your opinions. You can join us on our live stream. We're live right now on YouTube. That's Tops Media Center. You can also text us your opinions. 0962-746-3537. Again, that's 0962-746-3537. I think, Jiggy, are you live right now also on your socials?
No, I didn't. What I did, I just got the
question.
The how do you call this? The Facebook. The YouTube, and I posted it on my Facebook page.
Perfect. Okay.
So we're also live on Facebook right now.
Yeah, and
so you can join us in our conversation. Do you think social media, especially Facebook, because we use Facebook here in the Philippines, has made us closer, or has even torn us more apart? Okay, so I think muna in English na, di ba? Nagkaduol bata or nagkalayo bata sa social media? So technically, mas maka-communicate ta sa ato ang mga kaigsuonan, ato mga paryente, ato mga amigo nga minamahal sa kinabuhi kay masayo naman ang social media unya ang usa pa gyud free pa gyud ni siya, di ba?
Yeah, anyone can have an account. In your case, Jiggy, I understand most of your family members are sa States, di ba? So for you, I think you mentioned like last year, many episodes ago nga, sometimes you have like virtual celebrations, or was I correct to assume that nga marag kanang mo online lang mo, like when it's a Christmas dinner or something like that, for example, it's gonna be easy for you to connect with your loved ones. I can't imagine how they did it like sa kanang Pearl Harbor bitaw nga mag-write og letters. It'll take months for the letters to arrive.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
You talking about the movie Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, like nga nga style ba nga, like
Morag telegrama?
Oh, like for you to communicate with someone abroad, kay mag-send mong letters and it takes months for it to arrive. That would stress me out so much, bitaw.
Well, the reason why you ask the question siguro, nganong are we being torn apart or are we closer? It's because also you see a lot of division, a lot of conflict, a lot of argument, a lot of discourse nga murag mangilad ni bitaw sa social media. So that's probably the other side of social media, di ba? So mo siguro nganong nakapangutana at anang pangutanaha, di ba? Kay di ba ingon maka nga no-brainer man na, di ba?
It's kind of like a no-brainer.
Nagka-close man ta sa social media. Kaya sayon na ko kayo i-contact. Kung ganahan ko mo-contact ni Justin, ako lang sa i-ping, ako lang sa i-message sa Viber, sa Facebook, di ba? O sa
Messenger.
Sa Instagram, di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
But that is a component of social media nga medyo maka-communicate na ta quicker and faster, di ba?
More efficiently.
But
Okay.
on the other side of the spectrum, of course, is sige nag-away na sa linoon, di ba?
Kana pod.
Oh, di ba?
We've established, actually, guys, this topic is kind of like a rehash of a lot of the things that we talked about throughout the show, no? And we always come to the same conclusion. It's all about balance. Like everything in relation to technology becomes bad when we abuse it. But this is something worth talking about, especially because online discourse is something that we deal with every single day.
Mo na siyang kanapong word nga balance. Kaning mura man nagsayon ka ayo honaon balance.
Yeah.
50-50, di ba?
Cliché kayo.
Pero unsa man yung pagkibaho unsay right balance, di ba? Kaya posible man nga ang right balance, let's just say 2010 or 2080, for example, di ba? Kanang di ba sana kanang si Occam's razor, familiar ka na nga mura og when you apply it to, let's just say, a business, 10% of your customers provide or give you 90% of the business, right?
Okay.
So you focus on the 10%, di ba?
So that's the right ratio for that theory.
For that theory. So kanang right balance, that does not mean nga 50-50 all the time, di ba?
So it's subjective. Sometimes when you say like unsa man gid ang right balance, or subjective siya nga idea.
So I think to assume nga the right balance is 50-50 is probably not the case. It's probably a misconception. And number two, how do you measure the balance? Meaning to say,
are there metrics in place? I would say, good nga, you're abusing, or when it's good or bad.
Well, that's the beauty of social media. That's the beauty of the digital age. Everything is now being counted. Na may tracker, na may. In fact, you can tell how many minutes you're spending on social media.
Yeah.
Diba? Na may mga
screen time, something like that,
time,
or like
diba?
It measures your app
usage,
usage,
app usage, diba? So ma-measure yun na siya. Ang pangutana unsa pag measure sa non-app time, diba? So I guess or non-social media time or non-cellphone time. So I guess if you think about it, so for example, kung ang imuhang usage of your cellphone is, let's just say 8 hours, ang pasabot nga nabilin ng mga oras dili sa cellphone.
Yeah. Other things, yeah.
But the thing is, you're not only using your cell phone, also
you're using your laptop and other devices.
And right now,
like right now with us going live.
Una alam ko niyo, upat tulo ka buok laptop
at tulo ka screen monitors,
ang akong nasa akong atubangan ni usa ka cellphone, so upat ka buok gadgets ang ako
exactly.
Exposure, di ba? Actually 5 kay napay duha
ka cellphone,
actually unom
tulo ka cellphone in front of Jiggy right now.
So
that's how bougie Jiggy is, guys. Tulo yung cellphone dili tulo yung cellphone, guys.
That's actually an incorrect statement. Bougie meaning to say kaning affluent dili oy. In fact,
or bougie or busy kay tulo ka cellphone.
Ang ingon sila nga ang tao kuno is wealthy based on the number of things he can left or leave alone or let be. So you're rich on the based on the number of things you can leave alone. So kung dili ka makabuhi sa imong negosyo, dili ka makabuhi sa imong trabaho, dili ka makabuhi sa imong responsibilidad, then you're not rich. The rich person is somebody who can leave everything alone. And the more things you leave behind, the richer you are. Meaning to say, you're not weighed down. Usa sa mga comments ako nga mahan nga stuck with me ba yung nga, dong mura man kag kaning nasa ICU kay daghan man kay kag-wire. Ano ba magdakag mga i-plug ka sa laptop,
mga power bank and all this, chargers.
Mura man kag nice. Tinuod sa, di ba?
Actually.
Nganong nagan man kay kag-wire? Kanang daghang wire mo nang nasa ICU.
Actually, I can relate to that when I come to school. People are always saying, ngano daghan kay mga stuff sa mong bag. Mura kog ma-anxious if I don't bring a charger.
Correct.
I feel like I might need to use I can't just bring the device without its charger. So ang laptop na charger, ang cellphone na charger, napay power bank, napay as another spare charger for all the other devices like kanang mga fan nimo and all the things. So I feel it feels weird to not have them, no?
Correct.
Pasabot ayan na Jiggy kung daghan tag attachments of these things. So dili pa kay ta dili pa kay ta dato because we have to leave this behind, man.
So
to have luxury for like
you're only wealthy based on the number of things you can leave behind, right?
That's a good analysis.
If you can't leave them behind, that means you're weighed down by them. That means they control you.
They control us.
Your wealth, if ever it's called wealth, is controlling you instead of the other way around, right? So I remember, Justin, that moment in time when I felt the need for a cell phone. I remember this because
you told me about this.
Back in the 90s, right? Murag bag-o ni emerge ang mga cell phone companies, di ba? Na atoy gitawag nila og kaning Motorola. Mobile line. Mo siya one of the first few cell phone companies. Uni ang akong mga katrabaho sa istasyonan nga akong gitrabahoan ni atong una katong Y101 kaning ang mobile line, they wanted an exchange deal, right?
Okay.
So what we did was we in exchange for a cell phone, they got advertising time, right? So I did not feel the need for a cell phone. I was the last person in the station to get a cell phone because I didn't feel the need, because ako mo nakahinomdo ko maglakaw-lakaw ko sa Ayala atong una sa SM. Na may mga landline.
Which I'm surprised with. Jiggy mentioned every establishment there's like this like a payphone corner.
Na dili payphone kada ilang cellphone ba, ilang landline ba, landline ba.
And you just have to pay to make any call, di ba?
5 pesos makatawag ka. So kung ganahan ka kung naay mo ang akong gadget atong una kay kaning
a beeper? Okay, I heard about those.
So pwede ka kung ganahan mo tawag nimo or ganahan ka nga pagpatawag mo beep lang sila
nga call me.
Call this number,
okay.
diba? So I really didn't feel the need for a cell phone. Kaya nga where am I nga walay cellphone?
Yeah, I mean, where am I nga walay telephone? Every establishment na mo gid na telephone nga pwede na ko huamon. Huaman.
So kung naamagay ko sa usa ka lugar nga walay cellphone, maybe it's a good thing, you know. Maybe kung adto ko beach for example, mahayag yung way cellphone, di ba? Kaya at least makarelax ko diri mo na akong mentality niya tungod na. Pero kana magong kanang technology man good. The more its value only its value increases the more people have that same technology, di ba? For example, kung na kay fax machine, kung ikaw rin na fax machine,
then it's not as useful.
It's not useful because ikaw rin na
fax.
Ikaw imo rang gulingon. So mo sa ng cellphone. So when everybody started to have cell phones, ako ray cellphone.
Okay.
I felt more na yung useless. Kay sila magtinaw-ganay sila sa cellphone. Niya ako wakoy cellphone so manawag ko nila sa landline. So I eventually got myself a cell phone at that time. So mo na ang technology nga kaning mura og dili man siguro nga kinanglan gyud og cellphone. It's just nga everybody is using a cell phone.
So then
you will feel left behind.
Yeah.
Right? So
you have to get with the times.
Yeah, get with the times. So kana pong ato ang social media karon, kung wa ka sa social media, di ba, nag-ingon man sila nga kaning we live in a digital era, di ba? Paghuman, you know, if you're not on social media, you're not if you don't post it on social media, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Well, like pictures, there's no proof.
These are the narratives that we are fed
now,
di ba? So take note that these are the stories that we are fed. So kung nawa ka social media, wa ka ano, unsa man kayo, are you a hermit? You know,
so it's almost as if like there's something wrong with you if you're not with the times, because why would you want to be left behind? Diba? Correct. Question ba?
Correct. So kaning the way you communicate also, kung wala ka sa social media, dili ka makontak nila sa Facebook, sa Messenger, sa Viber, or sa TikTok or whatever social media platform, you're mura sa kag unsa naman ka off the grid man kay kalibing, di ba? So mura na nung kag dili ka part sa imong community, sa imong group, sa imong family, sa imong society.
Aloof kay ka aloof, no? What's Bisaya of aloof?
I have no idea.
I think that people still use that in Bisaya also. Aloof kay na siya.
Aloof.
Yeah, but I totally understand what you mean. No, I had friends. There was a time also when I realized na social media is very much integrated sa atong education. So I don't know if makarelate mo ani nga when social media was quite new, na atay mga projects nga kailangan nimo i-post and then you have to receive likes to get a certain grade. However, now kanang gina-regulate na sa mga eskwelahan, they don't really allow that na now because it's kind of like unfair, but you know, the influence would also determine that. So it's also to raise awareness about a certain topics. I remember in what is it gani in June and July, like is it like National Health Month, like when they teach you about like, you know, Go Grow and Glow Foods and all that.
Okay.
Something like that in July. And I remember we had a project in school wherein everyone has to post like a healthy meal that they eat or like a practice that they do.
Correct.
That's good for their health. And then na yung mga hashtags igamit. So it was for a science class or something like that. Yeah, I remember I had some classmates, shout out to my friends ng the kind of mga foreigners man natin sa Cebu, katong mga Koreans, that for some reason, dili kay sila tech savvy, di kay sila into social media.
Okay.
So they never used social media, like they don't have use for it kay they didn't feel that they needed it. Pero they felt the need for it when it became our school project na nga kailangan mo post. So then murag nag-create sila like account, yeah, you know, they had to go through like learning it from the bottom. And then later on, we realized nga mga group projects wherein sometimes di man gid mo magkamit sa imong group mates. It's not like we could go together every day. We all live in different parts of Cebu, na yung mga taga Lapu-Lapu, taga Mandaue. So dapat mo gamit gid mi og like Messenger or Google Docs or Google Sheets and all these other beautiful and I'm so thankful for these mga websites, no, and these mga software kay it makes life so much easier and working with other people so much easier. So then napugosad sila gamit nga, oh, you know what, I really need a phone. Then the pandemic hit. When I was in college, napugosad gyud ako mga classmates nga dili man ni ka nang di magsilbi nga cellphone na akong gamiton sa online class. I need to get a laptop. I need to get like an iPad or some other device that would help me take exams easier. Kay lisod man kay mag-exam kasi mo cellphone. So again, there's really like I think the social context, you know, the development of like whatever activities they dictate if a particular technology becomes important at that time, no, and then they dictate.
So are you saying it's the activity first and then the technology later? Because I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like ang technology ni emerge, and then instead of doing it the way we used to do it, we are doing it in a different way now, right? So what do you mean by that?
I mean, like, it depends on the circumstance and the context nga the society, whatever circumstance and context that the society is dealing with, then that dictates like what people might use, because the technology will always just be there. Like, laptops were a thing even before the pandemic, but there's been like I feel like during the pandemic, a lot of more people started acquiring laptops because of the situation of online classes.
Correct. Yeah, that's absolutely
no?
correct. Yeah.
So, bisag dugay na siya nga technology, daghan lang naggamit ana because of the circumstance
of the situation.
Of the situation. Right. So karon, with our topic, guys, for Honest Ita Sugbo, nagkaduol or nagkalayo ba ta tungod sa social media?
Yeah. And I think social media, it's good that you mentioned hardware, because of course you cannot be part of social media if you don't have the hardware, diba?
There,
so kung wala kay cellphone, wala kay laptop, di ka maka-communicate sa mga tao, diba? So if you're not weighed down by that device on your pocket, then you cannot participate.
You mean diba? The little screen that controls our lives?
So I think we're still setting the stage for this conversation. Sa naon gunatugod nga kani manggong social media is not our own invention, diba?
It's
kani
not,
social media gihimo man ni sa usually in Silicon Valley, sa Amerika man gihimo nila kanang mga kato mga Friendster, kato mga Multiply, kato mga MySpace, kato mga karaan ng mga social media platforms nga nanira na karon, di ba? Kang mga bago nang abot kanang, of course, mga TikTok, mga Instagram,
Threads and all these other things,
and X and all of that stuff. And of course, ang pinakasikat rin sa Pilipinas until now is still Facebook, di ba?
Oh yeah, Facebook.
So kani sila mga butang nga dili ni invention nato. So kita nakiuso lang gyud ta if you really think about it, nakiuso ra gyud ta. Unya, of course, again, just like me, not thinking that I did not need a cell phone because there's always a landline somewhere. Now, when everybody in my circle had cell phones, I was the odd man. I was the odd man out, diba? So I have to join in. So mo na nahitabo nato diri sa Pilipinas or sa tibuok kalibutan nga layo ra kay sila sa teknolohiya, pero mura tag na appeal na lang gid ba?
Or else mabilin man ta.
Mahibilin ta sa digital world, diba?
Exactly.
Sa digital economy, diba? Because that's what everybody is doing. So kung mo persist ka, kung mo insist yung nga wala kay digital presence, pwede raman siguro.
Pwede naman. I mean, it's not like you can't engage with other people. I think it just would limit the.
Pero kung ang mga tao, for example, na maligya na sa imuhang produkto sa social media, unya ang mga tag-iya ato mga negosyo ni atong una sa imuhang kompanya, for example lang I'm giving you an example. For example, among negosyo, fashion accessories, di ba? Kung ang mga namaligya na ang negosyoha, ang ilahang mga amahan o ginahan o mga founders of businesses nangamatay na, ilahan ng mga anak na maligya ng negosyo nga fashion accessories, then dili na ka makita nila. Asa man kapangitaon nila nga wala naman sila nangita nimo sa maadto pa sa store, mga maadto pa sa Pilipinas, mo travel pa sa around the world nga pwede ra nila pangitahon sa Instagram, pwede ra pangitahon nila sa eBay, sa Facebook. So maawahi na ka kung dili ka mag social media. Pero truth be told, even my dad, who's still alive and kicking, he's still duking it out with our business. That's what gives him purpose and keeps him alive, right? He actually does not have any social media footprints. What good siya ito social
not
media
even like
presence.
not even Facebook.
So yung mga customer gyapon is manawag gyapon sa telepono. They're still using the old communication lines, right?
Wow.
So but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sort of make a jump, a slow presence ba hinay-hinay lang nako, because maybe one day kaning wala na ni silang mga tawhan nga manawag pa sa telepono, social media na lang. So muna ang fear na to ba? Fear magodo. What's na? Fear of being left out. What's na? Fear of FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
Diba? So kung nanas la tanan diha ako landline gyapon ko, pasig ma-left out ko, di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
So muna fear.
You have to get with the times, good.
Yeah.
It's not anymore like I think it goes beyond fear of missing out. I don't think it's only just because ay madlo ko kay di ko ma-left out. It's almost like a necessity already for you to get things done, you need to do it. Like in the case of what I mentioned earlier, katako mga classmates, it's not that they needed to get social media because they couldn't engage with us. Kaya magkita naman gyapon mi sa klase. But they needed it because it was a need for them to pass. If they wanted to comply with the requirement of posting for a grade, then they need to post para makitan sa teacher ilahang mga post para graduhon sila. So, mapugos ka ba?
During my high school and college days, wala pa may computer atong na, di ba? Wala pa kaning dili pa widely available. So, ang buhaton mo i-type ginamo, di ba? I-type gid siya.
Oh my goodness.
I-type gid siya, di ba? Niya paghuman na may mga entrepreneurs sa San Carlos nga mo type og para nimo kaning isuwat lang nimo ni sila mo type, di ba?
Typists
sila. So that was an actual business
that was
back
so
then.
Cool.
So may tabuan na kung na kay project imong ipa-type, imong i-submit. Diba? I mean, like, there's also nothing wrong with that information flow, diba?
Kaya imo man sad nang it's your paper.
Yeah.
Everything that you wrote down there, that's your ideas, everything. Yeah. It's just that you had someone else.
Even if it's a group, kay kanang kuan man may group project. Mag-meeting mi, magsuwat mi ana, mag whatever niya paghuman imong i-submit sa typist. So human ipadana mo sa maestra, i-submit na mo, di ba? So that worked. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that, right? Kani mo social media magud, kani mo technology sometimes mura siya og ang need niya bitaw kaning gi-invent bitaw. There was no need and you created a need. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's how most businesses thrive also, no? They create the need.
Kanang for example, okay raman ko atong mo submit.
It worked raman.
Okay, that it worked fine, di ba? Because the point of education is to discuss,
make an assessment.
To make an assessment.
If somebody
to talk about
grasped
stuff,
it.
di ba? Grasp. Itudlo nimo sila.
And it worked.
It works, di ba? There was nothing lost.
Pa at that time.
No. If you compare to digital but there was nothing. Wa may nawa kung mag-meeting mo diha, kanya mag-istoryanan
mag-draft mo sa inyong paper,
yung term paper or
project
ninyo, mag-istoryanan mo niya, naay mo suwat o niya ipa-type ninyo, i-submit ninyo. There's nothing. Why nawa, di ba? Kung
resources and time lang siguro ang mawa.
Kung imuhang digitalize to siya, pwede ra mo nga nag-Zoom mo, for example, nag-meeting mo, o niya paghuman Google Docs niya paghuman inyong gi-print, inyong gi-submit, di ba?
Yeah.
Why nawa in terms of what you learn ba? If you think about it ba? Why nawa? Pero nawa siguro sa
time and resources.
Pero naka-feel ba ka, Justin, nga you have more time now because of digital technology? Do you feel nga your life is easier now compared to before digital technology? Nga walay computer?
Or
walay Zoom, walay Google Docs? Do you feel nga your life is much easier now, much faster now?
Oh my.
Right?
Yeah.
The
that's
answer
a question also.
I suspect is no. The answer is I suspect no.
Because then you're also chained with other being able to have like these resources like social media and technology, kay it also gives a new set of responsibilities naman, kay people expect nga it's so accessible to you, so dapat mo comply ka. But actually I would answer yes, I do feel like I have a lot more time, no? Ay nakabot masad ko anang time nga you make a project and you have to type it down pa. Actually nagka-digitalize naman good me. Like I've not tried like the typewriter type of kanang, when you had to submit something, you'd have to really meet with your friends. Pero kabot pa ko earlier in high school nga, you have to sabot, meet your friends with a project, and then you type it down and then print it out and hand it. Like, for example, when making a thesis. But in both experiences as a student and a former teacher, mas makasave good ang time if everything is done online.
I'm asking you a question right now. Okay, here's the question. Do you feel your life is easier now? Do you feel because of all of these inventions, of all of these gadgets, all of these digital technology, that you have more time for yourself now? Do you feel that, or are you cramming more things in your life because it can be done quote unquote easier because it's digital? Ikaw, tanong mo, do you have more time now? Because I notice you and I feel like you have. You're very busy now. You're becoming more busy. You're becoming busier, diba? And I think technology actually makes us busier instead of making us less busy, because we know we can accomplish
anyway
more, and you can work on it whether naka sa CR.
Actually.
Diba? Nag-relax ka sa dagat, you can actually also still work on your thesis. But you couldn't.
There's before.
You could not. So you were forced to really enjoy the moment. you're really forced to enjoy the beach because you could not work on your thesis from your
from where you are, yeah.
From you where you are. So imong buhaton is mo relax ka sa beach, abot na ko sa balay.
Mag-allocate kag time.
Abot na ko sa bahay, abot na ko sa eskwelahan, magtrabaho ko ani pero karon amo kay mabuhat. So ako buhaton. Right? So ikaw do you feel nga you have more time now because of technology or you can probably say nga you can get more things done but you still have less time for yourself?
Oh, I actually would say that I have more time now because of technology.
Okay.
And I feel like right now I do have classes every night, and if it wasn't for technology, I don't think I could be coming here in the morning to do TMC.
Yeah. So you're actually inserting activities in your life.
Yeah.
Because of technology. So that means you can get more things done, but that doesn't mean you have more time to relax, right?
Not to relax, but
I'm talking about time to for yourself. I'm talking about time to what's going on.
Well, I count TMC as time for myself. I like coming on here.
Okay.
And chikaing. So this is something that I could, there are a bajillion things we could also do with our time now that technology gives us that, no? Pwede naman gid ka matog tibok adlaw niya.
Correct, yeah.
You can just ask freaking AI to make like a summary of your cases. Tungal lang kas klase. You didn't have to read the whole coda. You didn't have to read all the cases. Pero I'm really happy that this technology that I can use para I can make time for things that actually make me happy. I mean, I'm not saying that school doesn't make me happy. It does. Pero murag, I have time for other stuff. I can go meet people. I can converse with people. And like our lovely listeners right now sa TMC, those listening to us on the radio are joining us atong YouTube chats and also on TikTok live right now. So I can converse with people instead of just being in my own bubble. So that's something that I
What do you mean in your own bubble?
Kay kung tuyoon ra, like, if I didn't have technology.
The concept of a bubble is actually from technology. There was no such thing as a bubble back then, right?
Well, I would be in my own bubble if I was stuck at home trying to finish all the cases.
You mean you'd be alone?
Yeah. I'd be alone lang.
Right?
The only person I'd be alone without.
You'd be spending time with yourself and maybe with your family members, diba? More time with them. Kinaram kas malay, diba?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not necessarily also because in that case, practically speaking, they're in school and all that. But I would be spending hours trying to get something done that I can do now.
You'd be very focused also, diba?
That's also one thing, yeah.
Dili ka mag-distract or whatever, diba? Na mo message mo kalit.
Oh, kana.
Na balit
notification nga mo pop up.
Na manawag ni mo kalit, diba?
Yeah, in a way.
Because kana magong cellphone good, mura man I call that a digital leash, right?
Digital leash, okay.
Mura bag kani nga nakay kung iro pa ka ba nakay kadina ba? Nga dili jud ka makatawag nimo, diba? So when you do something, it is not because you want to do it, because some force is asking you to do it. Tagon kasi mong mama, tagon kasi mong papa, or sa mong boss, di ba?
And that's the very reason why most of us feel like this sense of panic kung mabilin imong cellphone.
Correct.
You feel like you can't. There was a time before nga kung mabilin imong cellphone, mato kong school, okay ra gid mabilin because anyway, like sure man na nga kuwaon naman ko sa hapon, mauli ramang gihapon gid ko. I don't need my phone. Everyone that I need to converse with, my teacher na raman dito sa eskwelahan, akong classmates na dito. But the older I got, Jiggy, kay mo panic na ko because I would need my phone. What if something happens, this and that? Ang mga projects, ang inigabot nimo sa klase, ang pabuhaton nila nimo when you work with your classmates, you still need to use an online platform even if you're beside each other kay mo gamit na mo mga Google Docs instead of writing. So, yeah, I think there's like that question, no? Is it something that gives you more time or creates more things for you guys to think? So if you're wondering what we're talking about now, guys, if you're listening to us on the radio, 105.1 TMC, this is our Honest Ay Tasugbo segment. So Jiggy encourages us to be completely honest gid with our answers. Walang may sayup ani. Chika-chika ra man gid ni kasi if it's just us talking kay murag limited ra kaya mong opinions. So you can join us on YouTube. That's Tops Media Center. You can also text us at 0962-746-3537.
Tell us how you feel about the topic.
Yeah.
Ang social media, nagkaduol ba tayo? Nagkalayo na hinunta?
Yeah.
Ako, to be honest with you, Justin, my communication with my brothers
in the States.
In the States, before social media was
what was
difficult,
it like?
difficult, pero it was still regular because, na may long distance, diba? you can call them
telephone.
Telephone, diba?
Yeah.
And then but
Abot sa kuana.
but now although naay messenger, pwede ra ka maka-message og any time of the day, diba? Pero I still don't message them as often because they're busy with their lives there, diba? Yeah, kaning my brothers have families also, so busy sila silang kinabuhi. So tag sa gid mi mag-istoryanay. So I would say nga ang among communication was actually still more when they were still here physically.
Yeah.
Okay, makita man mi pirmi, pero karon nga wala na sila diri. We don't talk as often simply because they're busy with their own lives. So ako magong feeling man good is although importante ng communications, importante ng cellphone, importante ng text, pero nothing really
beats
a face-to-face conversation. In fact, kanang mag-Zoom interview ko.
Yeah.
Lahi ra gyud siya kung naa ang tao sa atubangan nimo. Lahi ra gyud siya in many ways, but of course, something gets lost if it's not a face-to-face conversation.
What is that gets lost?
I feel like you can't detect warmth as much.
Okay, number one.
Oh, warmth. You can't,
someone's charisma, their warmth, the genuine, more innate feeling that you get from a personal experience. Kaya mawa na siya, of course. Okay.
And of course, the intentionality of being physically present. You know, kung mutunga ka sa naa ka sa atubangan sa usa ka tawo,
that shows effort.
Dili man na sayon, di ba? Ikaw dili man na sayon ng ori ka diri tops, di ba? That shows effort, di ba? Kung wala ka diri, then wa ka physically diri, you don't know kung unsay surrounding niya, basig kaning nag-brief ra to siya pag human.
Exactly. Nobody knows like what you're wearing.
Nangout ka siya sa itlog niya pag human, nagpad ka siya tubangan nimo, di ba?
So I do that ba ka nang magklase sa una nga ang top ra uniform niya sa ilaw kay kanang pajama. Okay. Number 2, you also don't know asa sila silang background. Yesterday I attended a work meeting and one of the people I was with in the meeting, she mentioned,
online meeting.
Online. Are you in the office? Kay naman ay green screen nga background bitaw. Are you in the office? Usahay, nara ko sa kung if I'm taking these meetings at home, nara ko sa kong balay, nobody would know that you're in your freaking bedroom and you're in your dining table. Kay nara tayo mga digital backgrounds. Okay, so those are the 2 things mawala. What else, Jiggy, do you think nga mawala through like digital communication? So that's that warm feeling, the genuine, more human connection that you get when you're with a person. Mawa na. Number 2, more the sense of effort nga. They came to see you. Effort said like they made an intention and they planned it out in their day. I appreciate those things.
And number 4 is probably vibes. You know, you sense the vibration. It's not something woo ang kaning or something
you can't explain what necessarily a vibe is.
A vibe is when somebody enters a room, you know, like for example the way they smell, the way they move, the way they dress, you know, the way they move, the way they act, ano bitaw. So those are the more intangibles ba nga para nako importante
that get lost
if
do online
lang siya. But you know, like if it's purely an intellectual conversation,
then all the meat
pwede ra gyud.
Everything you can say kay ma-convey raman sad.
Sabta naman siya.
But what do you guys think? I'm also live right now on TikTok. Kuya Magic's joining us and my sister Jaden. Hi Nini. Let us know what you think, guys. Nagkaduol bata or nagkalayo tungod sa social media? Does social media bring us together or kind of like make us feel farther from each other? So
kanang mga away-away karon sa kanang ICC, kanang Duterte, kanang
mga diskurso,
mga kaning silang bato, kana sila this is actually a kind of a replay sa atong previous election, di ba? Kaning gubot kayo ba nga?
It's a replay and it's also like a prediction as to what's gonna happen in the upcoming election.
Kung ano-ano nimo nagkalayo ta hinuon.
Okay, that's a good point.
Sige nang tag-away-away, sige nang tag kaning murag sige diskurso nga murag mag-abot na sa personal bitaw nga mag-away na sa personal, mag-hak-hak na, sa tawag na
mag-block sa imong
mag-troll na.
Okay, that's one. Mo block pag there's so many instances I see in social media. Mo block sa ilang mga parinti kay instead na you value each other's opinions kay murag because everyone's free to have a platform to say whatever they want, at the same time pwede na nimo i-invalidate what they say. So That's one point nga magkalayo noon, no?
Yeah, kanang social media, dili man ka masugpaanan na, di man ka masumbagan kung pataka kag sulti, di ba? Kung imong insulto ng usa ka tawo, dili man ka masagpaanan na kay tuwa man ka
social media man.
Layo man kay kastanan, di ba? So, pwede ra ka blurt out og basig unsa diya, basig dili ka sigurado kung sakto ba or dili.
So do you think like it also gives you a false sense of bravery sometimes, no?
Sometimes uban man gali dili tunod na nga nilang gamiton mga fake accounts, di ba?
You can hide behind the screen.
Mo na siya ron. So I feel like
it makes a gap. Creates a gap.
Instead of making us, there are parts of it that's making us closer, but there's also parts of it that's making us kaning far apart.
Okay.
Diba?
So the classic example is kanang in online discourse wherein everyone has an opinion and because we don't like each other's opinions and we can hide behind the screens, matagantag false sense of bravery.
Correct.
Nga murag, okay ra, makasira ko, whatever I want. Because like, kasi mabuot na ko. There's no physical person that's gonna choke me from what I'm saying. So, matakan kang bravery. Okay, that's one way to look at it.
Kuan, aside from that, ang atong mga opinion, ang atong mga ideas, kung no matter how messed up, no matter how unintelligible, no matter how smart, no matter how impossible, no matter how eclectic, how weird it is, there's always a group of people who believe in whatever it is that you believe in. So, posible ra gyud nga, for example, nagtuo ka nga, the world is flat. Kung ganahan ka nga, makigstorya sa mga tao nga pareho pagtuo nimo
mga flat earthers,
makakita ra gyud ka na. Kung pagtuo nimo nga nakaikatulo nga mata nga nasa imong agtang, pwede ra gyud na siya pangitao. You seek them out.
You will find people that will agree with you.
You will find people who will agree with you. So, may tabuan na nanay mga bubbles, mga groups nga lagyo kayo sila og mga panghuna-huna. So mag-away na sila eventually kung if they touch base with each other nga ako gatuo ko nga ang kalibutan flat. Ya makigstorya ka og kaning round earther. So,
flat earthers versus like round earthers.
Round earthers, diba? Whatever you want to call them. So mag-away na sila. So
and that is simply because social media provides a platform ang good nga magkaabot na ni tanan. If before you wanted to have conversations with a flat earther, mangita ka, I don't know how you're gonna find that. You're gonna ask all your friends siguro, do you know anyone who believes in this? Karon, when you post something on social media, it's so easy for someone from any part of the globe to validate it by hearting it. Mo comment bitaw agree ko. So then you form your own group of people that also believe in that thing.
Let's just say, for example, na usa ra ka buok flat earther sa usa ka barangay.
Wala siya mahimo.
Or sa usa ka nasod, for example lang theoretically, usa ra ka buok. Pero sa tibok kalibutan, basig usa gatos sila ka buok, di ba? So na usa ka buok flat earther kada nasod, usa ka buok nga whatever for whatever reason he came up with that conclusion, di? So usa gatos na mo ka buok. So you're like a community already, di ba? Most na usa sa mga nahitabo sa in terms of kanep ng talent, music talent.
Okay.
Nga tuon na ko no, kung maayo ka mo kanta sa imong barangay, sikat kay kastanan, ngilngig ka kay maayo kay ni si Justin Narviso, nagatalisay mo ni pinakangilngig nga singer sa Talisay, di ba?
Barangay Mohon.
Barangay Mohon, taga Mohon mo ni si Mohon's best, di ba? Pero karon ang ato ang access to entertainers, to musicians is grabe naman kayo. We have access to the entire country, the entire world. So dili na kayo ka banggiitan kay makakita sila sa silingan din ninyo dito sa barangay Puok, for example, naapo din maayo nga singer dito. So makibaw na ta nga dili de ka nag-inusara dili de
the world is great mas dako pud ba they're always saying like, it's such a small world. No, actually social media expands that exponentially.
So you become less celebrated in your barangay kay nakibaw man sila nga sa pikas nga barangay, sa pikas nasod na mo yung pareha nimo good mas
or even better than you.
Mas maayo pag nimo.
Yeah, exactly.
Ano bitaw? So ang ato ang when we value talent ma-diminish na, ma-lessen na ba kay nanamtay mura og global perspective, di ba? So muna siya. So kung nagka-close ta, maybe kakon ka na Justin nga sometimes there are times nga the more you know about somebody, the less you like them.
And exactly.
Number two, the more you spend time with them, meaning to say nga instead of just spending, let's just say, an hour a day with the person, you're spending like 2 hours or 3 hours a day in inordinate amount of time na ba? More na kang makabantay na kasi
you slowly see the imperfections of a
quirks ni ba?
Yeah. Which are inherent in everyone. Tanang tao di man kita perfect. Pero manotice lang nimo dayon.
Dili pa na nimo bana asawa, boyfriend, girlfriend or suon, di ba? Kanang siguro imuhang mga minahal sa kinabuhi. Maybe you can stand siguro with more time with them. Kaya imuhang man nagsuon si Jaden, imuhang man nagsuon, di ba? Pero kung nay tao diha nga
someone new,
someone nga dili nimo paryente, nga dili nimo kailan ya paghuman you know about them through their social media feeds. Kibaw ko nga.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Jiggy, and I think that relates kid to know the feeling nagkalayo noon mo in person. There are a lot of people, I don't know if makarelate mo guys nga, you probably met them on social media, you became friends first, niya, inikita ni mo in person, lahi man ni siya personality, tabian kay ni siya sa chat niya, in person kay di man kay ni siya tabian, or like this person like is kind of snobby nga na. So it makes me feel like instead nga social media is a platform for us to become closer.
Correct.
Kaya it was so easy good for us to hang out, quote and quote. Imagine, I didn't need to leave the house. Tibok adlaw, nag-chat good me, mag-chika-chika good me. And then when I meet this person in person, like I see them around school, for example, and we have an actual conversation, we're like, oh my God, we are actually not the same. I don't know what it was with social media nga marag ang content siguro makarelate me, pero mo na mugingon when you actually feel a person's vibe and lahi gid siya og experience. So I feel way farther to that person instead of closer to them. So that's one instance nga bro, feel na nakalayo raman gyapon. Walay gamit ang social media kay this person's not how they are in person.
Okay, in case you're wondering unsa inyong gipaminaw, you're listening to Top of the Morning's Mag-anisay ta Sugbo. Nagkaduol ba ta or nagkalayo ba tungod sa social media? Join us in our conversation at Tops Media Center on YouTube, at Tops Media Center on Facebook, or even on my personal page, Jiggy Juice.
Yeah.
Maayong bungkag ni Sir Ed Rama, nasa message nako.
Oh, cool. Sir Ed.
Pa-acknowledge sa mga ni-appeal sa cleanup sa sitio Badhawon, Mambaling.
Woohoo!
Daghang salamat sa inyong
Coastal
pagtabang
cleanup.
sa atong paglimpyo sa atong mga coastline sa siyudad sa Sugbo. Kani si Ed Rama, muni akong hero gini siya. Grabe kini siya.
Grabe.
Ka-passionate siya
advocacy.
about sa atong mga karagatan sa siyudad sa Sugbo. So my goodness, I need to talk to him soon. So,
and hopefully we'll have him on the show again, no?
Correct,
for upcoming projects nila.
So I think manggod, social media magnifies everything.
Magnifies everything.
Oh.
Good or bad, whatever it is.
So para nako ang social media wala lagi kalahian sa before social media na magnify lang na murag ni multiply lang by
exactly.
by 10x for example. So pareha ra gyapon.
Yeah.
Na magnify lang yun.
Yeah. And I think it was Will Smith who quoted ba nga in sa iyahang neck of the woods kanang racism for example as a social issue dugay na magid na nahitabo. Like but it's just being documented now. So daghan kay people that are enraged, a lot of people that are, so I feel like we've talked about this a few sessions ago no nga murag magbalik-balik ra man gid ang mga social issues, ang mga trends, our experiences. Sadly, there's little to none space for it to be like original and creative. So history repeats itself. Karon lang mamagnify lang gid na siya. And we get to see other people's histories, we get to see their stories because of social media.
According to Ed Rama, Badyawan dili badhaon. So Badyawan, sitio Badyawan. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagtabang sa cleanup sa sitio Badyawan, Mambaling. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw. Ed, tabangi mi dire Sir Ed B. Kay kani si Sir Ed, communications sa siya nga teacher sa academia before. Kaning social media, nagaduol ta or naglayo ta tungod sa social media? Join us in our conversation, please, okay?
Yeah, guys,
Mr. Ed Rama, nato mga tigpaminaw diya. Text lang 0962746357. You can join us on our YouTube at Tops Media Center.
Yep.
And also on my Facebook page, Jiggy Juice and Tops Media Center. Happy birthday di ay sa ako ang Brad. Nga kung siya grabe kini bugat kini mo na usa sa mga pinaka sought after nga mga abogado sa Pilipinas. Justin. Kani siya si attorney Bubit Israelito Torion, mo ni abogado ni Kibuloy, mo ni abogado ni Rodrigo Duterte, mo ni abogado sa mga banggiitan diyang mga tao diya sa Pilipinas. So kani siya ilang pangitaon kung kaning naa sila legal help. So kani si Israelito Bubit Torion,
Attorney Torion.
Maayong bungkag ni mo diya Attorney Tol. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw diha ako mga Brad si sa UP tao unya maayong bungkag ni ba Bobit Israelito Torion.
Torion, that's Torreon.
Correct.
Mao na siya, is he the one who has the office dito sa IT Park?
No. He's actually based in Davao in Mindanao.
Alright.
Mindanao ni siya pero siya ni usa sa mga ni-represent ni Digong sa katong sa ICC.
Grabe.
Dito siya sikat kay ni siya tanan. Proud kay mi may bug kay ni mo kanta.
Singer-lawyer. That's so cool.
Singer-lawyer sa di siya.
Yeah, top of the morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, attorney.
Yeah.
Guys, let us know your opinions. We are also able to get your opinions through text. So that's 0962-746-3537. I'm also live right now on TikTok. Nag-update din si Nightcrawler. Apparently, Nightcrawler sa teacher. Magklase sa daw siya. Okay. When you get back, kindly let us know your opinion. Chamber, top of the morning also to...
Are we closer now with social media or have we been torn apart? Kaning mga fissures of society, kaning mga liki bitaw sa ato ang society bitaw. Tungod maginisad sa social media. I think
the cracks.
I think before we only manggod watched the same sources for information. There was only newspapers,
books,
you can only
other primary sources.
You can count them by the fingers of your hands, right? And there was only TV stations. So more or less, we had a sense of shared reality, diba? So karon
kaya
nga
ma-control naman ang information that everyone gets.
Karon nga na citizen journalist nga any Tom, Dick and Harry can just be a news source.
Exactly.
For whatever reason and then give his own personal take on a topic. Lahi-lahi na gitog sources of information. In fact, mura betag na irk ko ganihan nakakita kong post ba nag-ingon siya nga if you watch kuno legacy media like you know like CNN, like ABS, like GMA, like ABC and newspapers, if you watch traditional media and you get your sources of news there, you're actually being manipulated.
Yeah.
Which I said no, of course not. Ang diferensya gyud nato sa traditional media
is that
kanang mga traditional media, kanang mga legacy media nana sila opisina, nana sila yung credibility and they have a reputation to uphold.
Yeah.
Diba?
They have a whole research team.
Kung ako gapataka ako bagut-but diri sa TMC, pwede ko sungo ninyo diri kay bawon mo asa ko pangitaon, diba? Pero kung ikaw naka sa imong purol ga-brief ra ka unya paghuman naka sa imong balay
nakagipost nga article
diya,
no one can necessarily come after you.
No one can find you. Diba? Ang magsungon ka.
So that adds to the credibility of these media outlets.
Mo na siya nga.
The fact that they have a physical office that they can be kanang sued and like ano ba? Identify din sila.
Okay. So mo na siya usa sa mga reasons ngano nga dili ka makaingon nga dili nga ang news sa traditional or legacy media is fake news.
Yeah. Number two, legacy media also makes use of research. No, they have their own group of researchers. Dili na kay kung unsa ray mo pop up sa ilang social media. That's what we'll discuss on the news today. In fact, they have researchers that go on the field. Good.
Ang pasabot ng field kung dili mo kasabot unsa ng field mga kaigalaan, kanang field mo adto gid siya sa lugar sa source sa balita.
Yes.
Diba? Kanang kadaghanan nang maghimo og balita sa social media, gikan na sana sa social media ang ilang mga balita.
Yeah.
Mo na gitaw second-hand information, di ba? So kani first-hand information, secondary source, di ba? So for example, ganahan sila magbalita about aning butanga, mag-research sila, mag-google sila mag-google sila kan social media ba? Mag-google sila unsa na mo ning gosa. Ingon si kuan blah blah blah. So dili siya closest to the source, di ba? Baka kabawang imong source pod basic fake pod to, di ba?
It might be skewed, biased pod, yeah. But for legacy media, they have staff to do that, no? So that's one thing also that adds to their credibility.
For na magini agenda, there's no such thing as an agendaless entity, di ba?
Yeah. That is because we're, as human beings, it's our nature to pick a side.
Yeah.
And as we talked about yesterday, as human beings, it's also our nature to subscribe to an idea. Mga beliefs.
The picking a side, we don't actually necessarily pick a side. It's just because of our experiences as who we are, ang atong pananaw sa kalibutan, ato ara, meaning to say nga inputs from our environment. So mo na atong pananaw sa kalibutan based on what your father, your mother, your parents, your school
you grew up with.
Mo na ato we did not necessarily pick them. It's just nga mo man ang gibutang sa atong utok. So mo na atong pananaw sa kalibutan, di ba? That's what we think of the world. So we're using those eyeglasses,
those lenses
based on the information that we have been given at that current time of your life, right? So nagud tay bias sa ato ang environment, di ba?
Yeah.
Where we are from and who our parents are and who are
the nurture side of
the nurture
like,
side. So labi na ng news outfit kana, especially kanang commercial news outfit, nagin na sila bias kay ang mansag pataka na sila bagot-bot ya pag human nasa advertiser nga i-protect, di ba?
A sponsor that
sponsors,
they need to respect also.
Yeah, malimited sila na, di ba? For example, na usa ka butang, let's just say nga balita nga ang Nike kay makadaot og tiil, di ba? Yes, advertiser lang Nike.
So they're not necessarily gonna skew the news in a way that's makadaot sa Nike naturally.
Dili nila nagid sila limitations. But so you have to understand that. You have to realize that nga naginas, of course naginas sila agenda pod, di ba? Pero ang mas kuyaw mo gud nga agenda, kung imong agenda nga imuhang kung imong boss is ang Facebook, so imong agenda is attention. So imong agenda is the more attention that I have on my site, the more money I make. Mo reward man ang Meta, Facebook og ganing engagement, di ba? Og kaning likes and views, di ba? So imo na imong boss. That's even probably worse than an entity like a pair of shoes, di ba? Kay specific pair of shoes, di ka magabalita ng balita.
Yeah, because you're chasing clout.
Oh, so imong gipangita is kanang hibaw pito ka sa social media. It rewards attention, it rewards bombastic statements, it rewards violence, it rewards kaning extreme ideas, di ba? It rewards kaning graphic pictures and all of that stuff, di ba?
Yeah, because that becomes a source for people to find what's exciting that they wouldn't usually get in everyday life.
Correct, yeah.
Kuha man nimo ang social media, diha man ang drama. That's what the clout is. So it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. Also one of the things that we look into when we're talking about how nagkalayo ta because of social media.
Magkalayo kita kay ang ato nga mga sources of information dili na pareha. So what a sense of reality? What a sense of what the truth is ba?
What is the truth really? So, what is right really?
So atong akong source si Citizen Journalist X, ikaw kay si Citizen Journalist Y. Yeah, kana sila mga lagpas kay mga ideas, diba? So ikaw mo magstoryanay mo, wala mo sense of shared truth kay lain-lain mga pananaw sa kalibutan, di ba?
But on the other hand ba, just to like
push back a little, okay.
Yeah, I think about it nga, even if you have different opinions, having different opinions doesn't mean nga nagkalayo mo. If anything, it could be a positive thing because you got your information from journalist X and I got my information from journalist Y.
Okay.
And it's because of social media nga we have these different sources and there's no definite source of truth. Nga magka-close no unta because it creates the friction and the discourse. Like
magka-close ni unta kung
because it creates the discourse. Like if we all also had the same idea, if I'm trying to play devil's advocate
yeah, please do, man. I like devils.
If we also had the same ideas, kay pareha ra gyud ta nga source. We all got the same information from the same place and there's like a definite idea of what is true and what is right.
Okay.
Then there's no reason for us to have a discourse, to have a worthy conversation. So then we could also posit na we're not necessarily growing closer. We're just staying where we're at. But it could also be because you get your information from journalist X and I get my information from journalist Y and there's no definite, source of what is right, what is true, because social media provides us with so many different kind of information that magkalahi gitag point of view. Because lahi tag point of view, we can always have like a discourse about it, and that discourse, that friction causes us nga magkaduol instead of magkalayo. Like I'm trying to think about it that way ba. Nga, like for example, there are so many varying opinions on a particular topic online.
Okay.
And if I were to only converse with the people who have the same idea as me, like it's kind of boring. Like I already know what they think about this topic, and we all think about it the same way. Okay, we're from the same, like
we consume the same
media. So like
outlets,
I already know what they think about that topic. So but when I find out that one of my friends, for example, has a varying opinion, and then we have a discourse about it. Diba? It somehow brings you closer to that person. Ana de yang huna-huna.
I mean, like that is not something unique to the digital era, diba? Kaya naman yung mga different ideas. Let's say, for example, the advent of books, for example, diba?
Sources will always vary.
So mga books, like for example, mo ni imong pagtuo, pag human na alay libro nga, pwede mo ka mo live your life in a different way. Pwede mo dahil ani di ay, diba? So then there's a kind of a disparity na nanay distinction between your thoughts and her thoughts. For example, nag-eskwela siya og kolehiyo, let's just say nag-eskwela sa philosophy, di ba?
Yeah.
Ikaw nag-eskwela ka og kaning kutubra ka og let's just say high school for example.
Okay.
So lahi na mo og mga pagtuo, lahi na mo pananaw sa kalibutan. So naagyo ng differences in opinion, differences in worldview.
Yeah.
Dugay na siya. So naagyoy hisgot og mga butang lahi-lahi sila og kaning levels of understanding of life, of meaning, of our true state in the world, diba? Lahi-lahi gyud pananaw sa kalibutan. So kanang kalahian, it's always been around. There's always been differences of opinion from the very beginning. Nakinumdum ko atong una nga naay maglalis dito sa Plaza Independencia nga kaning morom to Catholicism versus Iglesia ni Cristo, whatever.
Okay.
Maglalis na sila dito, silang Sok Fernandez, kinsa pa sila maglalis sila dito.
That's actually cool. I want to witness that.
Wala na nakaron pero nindot kay ito niya tong una.
Karon gi online na that's already done online. People can just like
mo lagi nakapaitan ng online. Ang problema ng online is dili man ka sumbagan, di man ka masagpaan, dili man ka masyagitan kung pataka.
So ang consequences are softened in a way.
Walay consequences sa social media. So pwede ra ka preno ka diya pataka lang kag bagot-bot total sa may mawa na ako di mo ko masumbagan.
Wala may mo ano nimo. You know, I mean there are community guidelines in place on social media, has mga safeguard for that. Pero it's not the same good as the kind of bravery you would have to like really say your ideas in person. Para atong imong gihatag nga example in Plaza.
I quote si Ed that I like to read. As they say, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but not their own facts. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but not their own facts. So, how do you process that message from our friend from Bantay Dagat, Ed Rama? Once again, salamat sa inyo ang pag-clean up diya sa Sitio Badyawan. Daghang salamat. Yes, sir.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but not their own facts. Okay, makes sense because the facts in itself are like, it's given to us, it's fed to us. So basically, we're all
you don't
drinking from.
I don't think facts are given to us. I think you have to search for facts. You have it is there's so much effort to get to the facts.
To learn something.
It's easier to just digest something that is given to you. Sayo na kay nasanan nga mo ni gitudlo mo na siya mo na ako ang kamaturan, mo na akong naibawan, so because that's what was given to me. So kanang facts I think takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, I think though what Sir Ed's trying to say here is also let's assume that the same amount of facts are given to two different individuals. Bisag kung saon nimo pag given that it's the same fact, like they're drinking from the same cup.
Okay.
There will always be a difference in the way that they process
facts.
it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And it's
pero dili kay layo, dili kay desperate, dili kayo sa layo.
We can't tell because
no. But what I'm saying is, if they're reading from the same facts, then ang iyanan sigurong pagtanawan na niya is based on his personal experience and his. Pero they're consuming the same facts. So ang pasabot nga na mas duol na siya kumpara sa atong example ganiya nga flat earther versus round earther, di ba?
Okay.
So kung usara ka fact ilang gikuha, then mas duol siguro na sila compared to different set of facts, right?
Mas duol, I think
relatively speaking.
Yeah, I would say maybe just the content, but I like how Sir Ed mentioned like you're entitled to your own opinion because even if the content is the same, like you guys both believe in the same, the idea that was fed to you guys is the exact same idea.
Okay.
The way that you'll interpret it and your opinion towards
opinion.
would always change.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense nga. Yeah. You're always entitled to your own opinion, kay. That's like your remix of everything that you absorb in the world.
I like that remix.
It's a remix, diba?
Remix!
It's the remix of everything that you absorb, but whatever is fed to you, even if it's gonna be the same thing.
So depende siguro sa imong trainer siguro kung maayo ka mo remix or dili, di ba?
Yeah.
Namay ubang tao nga banga mo remix, di ba? So maybe
and unsay resources available for you if you like I'm gonna metaphor it if imuhang system kay daghan kay kag mga botones diha advanced kay ka, let's say like in relating in life daghan kay kag na experience, so imong pagka remix would also be a little bit more advanced, diba, than someone who's only been experiencing.
The problem is when people misconstrue fact for opinion or belief. The problem is when people misconstrue fact for opinion or belief. So na may mga facts gyud, na may cold hard facts.
Na dili ma-argue.
Again, my favorite example is gravity, diba? If you throw something, it'll always go down no matter what, diba? That's how the scientific method is. An experiment is replicable, and anywhere you go, in planet Earth, if you throw it up, it'll go down. So that's just a fact. You know what I mean? So a fact, of course, is
proven na siyang theory, basically.
Proven na siyang theory.
Gravity. Yeah.
So, but still, like it's not true all the time, because if you're in the moon, if you throw something, it'll probably float, diba? So it's true here on Earth. So nagyapon siya.
So again, there's a set of circumstances that would make it correct. Yeah. So then that also brings us later on. We always talk about like the philosophy of like truth, how truth is relative depending on the situation. So mao nang gingon ni Sir Ed Pod nga sometimes confused nato ang unsa gi tinuod versus what other people think and what we think. Yeah, we come to that point nga wait, is it just my own opinion or is it actually what's correct within for everyone?
Namamutay ganahan sa mga butang nga ganahan ta nga tinuod, di ba? There are things
that we wish
want to be true, di ba? So that is our bias, di ba? Ganahan ko nga tinuod ni siya. So I'm gonna live my life like this is true, and everything that I see makes it true. So murag a kind of confirmation bias ba nga muna siya imong pananaw sa imong kalibutan. So mangita kag mga butang nga
that fit into that,
reinforce your narrative, your story, your belief. Unya may tabuan na is mo lang na imong buhaton. You'll never look for countervailing information.
Why would you? Kaya everything fits naman what you want to think.
Lipay naman ka.
Yeah.
Sakto naman na. Kampante naman ka, di ba? And I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah. It's just a kind of choice that you live, di ba? As long as kaning manituo man ka nga kung ilabay nimo usa kang butang mahog, kung amba ka diya mamatay ka, di ba? So at least there has to be a base truth ba? Nga at least whatever it is you believe, pero naanay mga uban ng mga butang nga dili gyud mabagbag. Naagi mga butang diha nga dili na gyud siya malalis. Naagi butang nga lison na kay lalison. Lalisonon pagyapon, because that's really the scientific method nga mura og dili gyud sila mo hold any truth dearly, because you'll never know, like
there are always things that need to be disproven.
Yeah. So maybe
can be disproven. So
but so far, we all know that what goes up must come down.
Yeah. For now, in this circumstance, nga we're in Earth, on Earth rather. But that's why, guys, atong question for Honest Ay Tasugbo is nagkaduol ba ta or nagkalayo tungod sa social media? Fads, Nightcrawler, welcome back. Let us know what you guys think dito sa comments.
Kanang nagkalayo, pasabot na sa dili sa necessarily nga communication lines, because like I said, ang akong relationships ako ang mga brothers, although they're all abroad, I still I message them every now and then, but these are like hi, musta, like what's up, like what do you think of this,
like catch up lang
ba, like
you probably send them a couple posts that you find relatable.
Lahi yun kung mangaon mi mga tumiyog restaurant, mga on me, like
hours gid mo magstorya.
Mahaga silang mga anak.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
Yung mga nephews ug nieces niya, king storya ka ay to ay lahi, like that's heaven and earth.
Okay.
That's like, but of course, kung like mura bag letter ba nga nag-mail ka og letter, dear Steven, that's the name of my brother. Musta naman ka ba? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Send it to them, right?
Yeah, but okay.
So quicker lang siya.
But you and for example, in that example of you and your brother, it's already given nga layo namang gid mo. It's already far.
Yeah.
You're already far apart. So the question lang is, like being able to just send them a post, for example, and ask them, how are you doing within a split second? Does it make you feel like nagkaduol ka or nagkalayo gyapon ka? Or do you feel indifferent? Like it doesn't make a difference whether I send a letter that comes 3 months after.
I would say nagaduol me, because in the sense nga usually before lisod man kayo kay mahal man kayo ng long distance, so dili gid mi maka-istorya karon mura na mig kung na celebration mag video call me, so makita mi and all that stuff.
Okay.
Which is a kind of a good substitute ba for seeing each other.
Ano lang marag band-aid solution for now.
Yeah. Pero
it patches things up.
Lahi good ang magkita good personally.
And that's really important, and also making relationships. Na i-comment diri, yung siya, social media brings us closer para sa mga introvert. And I thought about it. It's true. Kaya a lot of people, they get anxiety, they get mauwaw sila to make friends and to share their ideas, and social media becomes a platform for them to do that. Pero sakto kay mong giingon nga lahi ra man gid ng experience when you're actually sharing your ideas in person, and you're having a discourse in person. The relationship that you form with someone is also different from if you actually came up to them, you made the effort to introduce yourself, compared to like, kaya introvert man ko mo, chat lang ko niya. Diba? So it becomes a substitute. So in the case of introverts, perhaps this is a substitute for a lot of the introverts as well. Nga. I don't really need to go out of my shell. I don't really need to learn siguro to push myself and my boundaries. Kay, this is an avenue man for me to just
push yourself, right?
Message
in a
someone.
way, in a way, right?
Protected man ko, shielded man ko,
because you're not actually there, right?
Yes. So
muna siya ang atong mga conversation sinon mas acrimonious sinon mas charged sinon atong mga conversations on social media kay di mo ta makita, di ba? Kung makita ta magstoryanan ta about sa atong mga issues, let's just say ICC kanang mga Duterte, kanang mga Dilima, kanang whatever. Magstorya ta niya mga tubangay ta. Dili siguro parehas kung social media ta magpost-post lang ta diha maglalis-lalis ta lahi siguro Kaya you know the person is there, you know you respect the person, you don't probably respect his ideas for example, but you respect the person, right? So magstorya na mas tarong inyong istorya kay naaman mo you're in front of each other. Yeah, kung magsulti kag something radical, buang makasubagon siguro ka.
Pero there's also there's a merit to that, no? On the contrary, there are some things, some conversations that I would rather have with people nga dili sa face to face kay usahay like you want to formulate pa what you have to say, and so sometimes I like nga doing it online. Pero ako Jiggy, I'm the type of person, I don't know about you guys nga. I prefer call over text gid. Ikaw Jiggy, call ka or text?
Call or text?
What would you choose? You're more of a text guy?
I think I'm more of a text person. Yeah.
Text person?
I like text. Yeah.
Ako, I really like call because, like for example, if I want to inquire about something, kapuyan ko to wait, or I don't want really. If I want to get an idea done, I'll just call a person and tell them about it. Pero there are some things nga I prefer the texting, I prefer the social media communication, I prefer the digital barrier kay mas makahuna-huna pa ko.
Correct.
Wait sa
before
diba?
Before you actually mas duol man ang baba kaysa tudlo, di ba? So your text is more well thought of, di ba?
Yes, exactly.
Compared to when you say it. At the same time, kanang kung ang akong problema gyud anang conversation is makalimot ko.
Okay, same. What you guys talked about, kaya makalimot ka.
Pero kung gi-text siya, katong si Kon, ingon si Justino nga maabot siya diri alas 11 pa. So, text daraw gisulti siya na. Pero kung nisulti lang ka na,
wait, what did you say gani ana? Okay, I get it. So that's why sometimes you'd prefer it's documented.
It's documented. So pero mo lagi ang the probability for miscommunication. Sometimes kung dili kay maayo mo text, kung dili ka thorough mo text, sometimes ang imuhang tinapulan nga text ma-misconstrue.
There's that too.
So importante kayo mo text ka, imog yung klarohon. Kay like
people have different interpretations ba?
We have been given the gift of language, and our arsenal is the English dictionary or the Bisaya dictionary. That kadaghan na ng mga words syaro sa di ka maka-express imong kagalingon nga maog yun imong ipaibot. Usahay lagi magtinapulan ta mga LOL, mga
I'm very guilty of that, guys.
So magtinapulan ta. So ang atong mensahe dili na inuhon ang imong pasabot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially when we're lazy and ato lang i-abbreviate bitaw tanan.
Correct.
So then it proves our point diri nga sahay magkalayo sad ka. There's always two sides of the coin in everything we talk about here, no?
Yeah.
And I don't know, they're just these. I would always say at the end of the day, we talked about this at the very, an hour ago, of how there must be some sort of balance. Now, the question then is, how do we establish that balance? Is it like you should, in your life, to have, like, to maximize all your relationships, 50% online and then 50%, you spend time with them? We can't determine a number. That's the thing. How do you balance, mangyud?
Kana bang word nga maximize ba? I'm actually not a big fan of that.
Why it's very consumerist, no?
What does that mean? What does maximizing mean?
Because maximizing,
like, for example,
entails you have a goal.
24 hours ang adlaw. For example, so kinahanglan gamiton mo 24 hours ang adlaw. What does that mean? What does maximization mean? Like at the end of that goal of maximizing, is that your life, your day, what are you maximizing?
Like for example, a relationship with someone, maximizing your relationship.
So it then commodity din ng relationship din, maximize mo.
I think what I mean to say is it just has to do with making the most out of it. So
that's a synonym for maximizing.
Yeah,
right?
making the most out of it.
Okay.
So given like in your instance with
Imong
your
pahimuslan.
like in your instance with your brother, for example, mao naman gyud ang situation nga he is abroad and you're here. So that's already a given. So for you to make the most out of it,
Make the most out of what? Our relationship,
your communication and your relationship.
Our relationship with my brother.
So you make use of outlets like social media to be able to communicate to them.
Unsa ano pagpahimus ang imong relasyon sa imong igsuon? How do you maximize okay, istorya kaniya. Ano, mag-communicate mo, so that counts as investing time, maximizing your relationship with your brother. Kaya kung di mo mag-istorya di ay dili na siya ma-maximize.
It can be maximized, but I'm just talking about, because we talked about how you need to have a balance. We always talk about here in TMC how everything is either good or bad. Technology is good or bad depending on how much you use or you balance it out, no? Pero then the question that we ask also is, how do you balance manggidi ay? You can't put a number on that. You can't say that 50% like you must spend this number of hours in a day to communicate personally with your brother, and then the rest of the hours kay online lang. Certainly, and that's also because lahi man gid mong circumstance.
But I know actual people who do that, huh?
Well, pwede po,
those hyper busy, alpha kaning mga grabe na kay wana sila panon every single even I've seen movies about it. I actually haven't met an actual person who does that. Even for example, imong igsuon, schedule 5 minutes atang storya. We only have to talk for 5 minutes. I'm sure I can imagine that is that kind of person exists.
People with busy schedules. I'm sure, like, I think we're like that too, Jiggy. Diba? Like when you have work and then you meet a friend only for coffee or for lunch, diba? Naramangid kay set period. Kaya you have other stuff that you need to do within the day. We are those people technically. That exists. So my question diri, how could you balance if you are meeting with a new person? If you're meeting a new person, how do you balance?
What does that mean?
Kaya diba our question here is striking a balance between like using social media and spending time with that person. Sometimes when you meet someone you're not close with, you'll just use social media to chat them first. Kaya di pa mamo close like an acquaintance. So how do you balance that versus meeting them in person? Do you say nga, I'm only gonna message this person for this week. Next week dapat makigmeet na gid ko ang person.
What's your objective? Is it to close a deal? Is it to become more friends? Is it to become
the question.
His girlfriend or boyfriend? Unsa man imong objective nimo?
That's the question itself. What do you want to get out manggida of that relationship in a way? Kay that would depend man on how you strike the balance, right? Oh, that makes a lot of sense. If for example you're not too close with this particular classmate of yours and you have to work on a project, if your goal is just na mahuman ang project, then I wouldn't need to invest meeting them in person. Kaya pwede naman kumu-chat ni online nga.
Pero it's funny that you mentioned that. I had a meeting yesterday. It was a very important meeting. Unya, naghisgot sila dito sa among meeting kaning importante kaayo nang maghistorya ta og mga butang outside of the field in which you're in.
That's nice.
For example, kaning let's just say politiko ka. For example, nindot kayo na mag-istorya ta og butang outside of politics. Like for example, mag-istorya ta og kaning pagkaon or travel,
lifestyle,
or mga chicks or mga boys. Ano bitaw? You know what I mean?
What's the reason man for that, Jiggy?
Because
mas makulay ang buhay,
you create a bond, manggod, if you talk about things outside of your industry, of your field. So, importante kayo na siya tanan nga i-invest mo ang time to talk about nonsense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Nonsense actually
makes sense.
Nonsense makes sense. Nonsense makes sense because you are kaning mura og you form a kind of bond because of all the nonsense and stupid stuff that you talked about. Para when the time comes nga mag-serious na, you have this thing to go to buanga to bayoy kaning nangatagak ta sa kuan sa sapa kay kaning whatever. I don't know what example to give, right?
But it strengthens your bond with that person.
It strengthens your bond because you were talking about something more real, more human, more
And that is exactly why, guys, here at 105.1 TMC, the best of us, we talk about everything and anything under the sun.
Yeah.
If you come to think of it, if we were really to restrict ourselves, pwede naman kita maghiskot sa mga local nga news. Pero we talk about international politics. We talk about news from all over the world. Things that do not concern music. We talk about
necessarily,
all of that, philosophy and all that. So we're hoping that you guys will join us in our other conversations.
Yes, of course. And you can still join us in our conversation if you go to our Facebook page, Tops Media Center, on YouTube at Tops Media Center, on my Facebook page, Jiggy Juice. Napakikipangutana sa akong Facebook page. I hope you guys continue
comment.
giving me the comments as well. Aside from our question, nagkaduol ba ta o nagkalayo ba ta tungod sa social media, I also have a question about mga Boholano, taga-Bojul nga mga artists.
Yes.
Kung namoy na ibawa ng mga taga-Bohol nga artists nga we can play here in 105.1 TMC, palihog ko.
Comment na dito ilang mga pangan, asa ilang mga socials, if they have a song on social media or on YouTube rather that we can play.
And I am sure daghan kayo mga kanta nga naa na exist na sa tong playlist. Wala na nakibaw.
Wala na tagabaw.
nga taga Cebu. Kani si Jimmy Borja Si Jimmy Borja kuno taga Bohol ni Jimmy Borja. Kani si Jimmy Borja accounting teacher ni nako sa San Carlos.
Oh.
Kaya kuan sa ni siya kaning composer sa ni siya songwriter sa ni siya. Pareha ni Barney Borja. Ang akong idol po nga si Barney Borja na siya bagong kanta nga.
So they're not actually Cebuanos. They're actually from Bojol.
From Bojol, oh.
Wow, okay. We'll play the tracks here on TMC.
Yeah, let's play it right now.
Yeah.
Napoy sa dire Joseph Garra kuno. According to Jude Ibas.
Thank you for
Henyo Corpin.
Daghan
kayo.
What about female artists, guys?
Left Undecided. Napoy banda nga Left Undecided. According to Jano Fuentes nga taga Bohol kuno ni si Jay Reyes. Pero ang kinabagan yun is kaning kang Joseph Garra. Kanila lang sila atong ipatukan.
Yeah, we'll play some music from Joseph Garra.
Ang title aning kantaha kay Uli.
Uli na.
Manguli na
because it's 12. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Join us again tomorrow. We'll have some more mind-boggling questions for you guys sa Honest. It is mind-boggling, di ba?
Yeah.
Mind-boggling questions sa Honest Saita Sugbo. One more day to go before the weekdays end.
Yeah, and there's actually a game going on right now. I'd like to give you some news about it.
Oh, basket?
Especially if you're a Los Angeles Lakers fans, they're actually playing. Naslay duwa karon versus the Denver Nuggets. Kani sila ang Denver Nuggets.
I love that.
Mo ni sila ang mura og kryptonite nila in the last NBA season. Morning team nga dili gyud nila mapildi. Pero karon nga nana sila bago nga player in the name of Luka Doncic, murag sayo na lang kay pildihon ni nila. In fact, gilubong nila karon 107 Lakers, Denver Nuggets 84 with the 9 minutes remaining in the ball game. So
okay, perfect. That reminded me lang gyud sa USC also ang law school kay they're having like the intramurals today ang basketball game pod sa atong suporta guys, especially for Block 302. They forced up among female team, so the female team, they've never played basketball in their life.
Okay.
Gabi town sila nagpractice. I saw videos of them nagpractice sila.
Babay?
Yep, my classmates in law school.
Wow.
Kaya wala may lain players niya. Basta ma-forfeit mi ba?
Ikaw nga hindi makamadog basketball.
Ay, sus, pastilan, Jiggy. Oh my gosh.
Ngano man?
We're gonna make the team lose. Magunsa man town ko, ana.
Hindi kayo ba ang basketball din?
No, cheer mo na lang siguro ko. Go guys.
Ngano man day magkuan lang ka, mag-muse lang ka.
Napatay ta ana.
Ngano hindi ka mag-muse lang?
Pildi among team ana.
Ha?
Pildi among team.
Humanain yung mga muse mana yung parid-parid.
Yeah, but karon there's a basketball game for law students today.
Asa man ni sa iduwa dito sa USC gym?
Yes, in main campus.
Kinsa ilang kontra gali?
The other section sa law school, mga second year, third year.
Mga lawyers ni siya, law students ni siya.
Law students. So, we needed a female team niya, 5 of my brave classmates.
5 ra sila ka buok. Way pahoyay unsa?
Oh, is it supposed to be more than that?
Kada
5 versus 5 sila, Jiggy.
Kada team na anay 14 ka players.
Nga 5 raman na mo ha.
Na first 5 mo nang pinakamaayo nga 5. Naay 5 ka buok nga papuli ko na ma-injured, na kapo.
Okay.
Dili man na makaduwa og tibok game ang
usa ka player. Dili ni siya first 5.
Even
only 5 ni siya, Jiggy.
Even kana mga banggiitan na kay mga players dili mo 30 minutos ra ilang duwa, 40 minutos kung pinakataas gyud ang 40.
Okay.
And then kanang usa ka duwa is I think
how long?
48 minutes man na.
I don't know if ingana gihapon, pero kani atong mga classmates, I saw videos of them. They learned the game last night. Can you imagine training for na yung mga video nga nag-practice nila nagkanang okay, dili mo pasa-pasa.
They just learned the game last night.
Yep, because wala may mo play for our team. So
my goodness.
they took the challenge. So laban guys, I'm excited to see you later.
Good luck to all of the law students who are playing basketball. Kano sa
Today.
Unsang orasa?
I think that's like 9 p.m. to 12 midnight
9
after classes.
p.m.
Okay, 8:30 mami mahuman.
Sus kuya, walang doha agad. Tinuod ka?
Yeah. Yesterday, volleyball. So, and it was males basketball yesterday. Apparently today is the women's basketball
I'm curious
game.
Anong pugson magina? I'm curious.
You can just volunteer for that, no?
No, what I mean by pugson is ang oras ba? That's like after
I know,
the entire day of study.
I have no idea sa unsay what's the rationale behind the schedule.
Isn't that not good for their well-being anymore? Kaya murag kapoy na kay tuon na basketball na sad.
Ambot nila unsa na, but
mo tanaw kanila.
I don't think I can, but I'll try to.
You can't even watch it, right?
I can't.
Not because you don't want to, because it's already late, right?
Yeah.
How much more for these players? Anyway, good luck to you guys.
Good luck, guys.
Maybe there's a lesson to be learned here. Maybe in the future when you'll practice law, you'll also need to play basketball after.
Yeah, we never know.
You'll never know.
Thank you, guys.
This is Joseph Gara. As it turns out, he's actually from Bujol, the land of the Tarsiers and the Kalamay. Uli 105.1 TMC,
the best of us,
ang pinaka-bisdak sa tanan.